Alright guys, the Netherlands have just beaten Belgium by a goal to nil, and that has secured Holland or the Netherlands place in the semi-finals of the UEFA Nations League, and it's effectively meant that Belgium aren't in the semi-finals. In terms of the game, if you were a Belgian fan, you'd be disappointed by it because in a game like this, you'd want your team to be going for it, to be creating chances, especially with players like Kevin De Bruyne and Eden Hazard on the pitch. But that wasn't the case at all for Belgium. They created very few chances, and yeah, Pasveer in goal, he was rarely troubled, if we're being completely honest. Yeah, Holland, that they created the better chances, especially in the second half. The first half, it was a very tough watch, to be completely honest. There was a lot of losing the ball in midfield from both sides, a lot of turnovers, but the only real chances really came Holland's when they didn't take them at all. For Belgium, they can only say they really had few notable chances throughout the entire game. Onana probably had the best one, and he was probably Belgium's standout player. To be fair, he stopped Holland completely overrunning the Belgian midfield at times. I thought Witsel was fairly useless for Belgium today, and De Bruyne and Hazard just weren't at it at all. Hazard just looks so unsharp and not very fit, to be honest. He struggled with fitness ever since he's joined Real Madrid, and that's 3 years ago now. So that's a real problem for him. But De Bruyne, it was just an off night. You wouldn't be worried about that at all. He was superb on Thursday against Wales. So yeah, for him it's just a one-off. Batshuayi, I thought, was playing quite well, so I was quite surprised that he got subbed off at half time, because I thought when he was getting the ball, he was making some good passes and making the right runs. It just wasn't happening for him because the players around him weren't really doing enough, to be honest. But Holland, yeah, they when they got their chances in the second half, they didn't take all of them. Well, they only took one of them, if they did like the scoreline was to tell the truth. Virgil van Dijk got the goal. It was a header from a corner, and it wasn't the greatest marking ever. De Bast was on him, one of the youngest players on the pitch, and Van Dijk managed to wriggle away easily. He used Kevin De Bruyne to sort of split, like the way they were both running towards the goal. De Bruyne was standing still, just an extra body in the area. Van Dijk goes to run forward, but then runs right behind De Bruyne, meaning De Bast can't turn around and stay with Van Dijk. De Bast can't reach the ball, and Van Dijk has a very simple header. And I mean, this is a player we're talking about who has scored 8 goals for Holland now in just under 50 appearances, and has a massive habit of scoring 4 or 5 headers a season. So it was an absolutely easy chance for him. Other than that, Steven Bergwijn had a couple of half chances. And the one player who did impress me, he came on after about half an hour to replace Steven Berghuis through injury. Cody Gakpo, he came off the bench, and I thought looked very good, especially towards the end of the game when the game became more open, because Belgium had to give everything, but still managed to give very little even doing that. So yeah, when Cody Gakpo had the time and space to run into, and the opportunity to run at Belgium's defence, he did quite well. He created a couple of chances. One for, I think there might have been both for Bergwijn, and one for. No, one of them was for Davy Klaassen, but he tried to chip it over the keeper, but couldn't do so. I keep mixing up my words today. I don't know why. So yeah, he looked quite good, very sharp. I can see why a lot of clubs were supposedly interested in him over the summer. He's just a very good dribbler and a decent passer by the looks of things as well. Charles de Ketelaere came off the bench for Belgium at half time for Michy Batshuayi, but I thought that wasn't the correct substitution to make because De Ketelaere is a brilliant player, don't get me wrong. He's had a brilliant start to life in Milan this season after moving from Club Brugge. But I thought Batshuayi was actually not doing too bad considering the lack of service he was getting in the first half. So I think that wasn't the greatest decision ever from whoever was Belgium's manager tonight, because it wasn't Roberto Martinez. He was in the stands. Yeah, but Holland, they look like a side that will probably get to the quarterfinals of the World Cup at least, I would have thought, because they've got a group which they should be getting out with Ecuador, Qatar, and Senegal. Senegal should be a tough match. They are probably the best African team right now. But yeah, they should be at least finishing second in that group. Whereas Belgium, it's obviously the end of their golden generation right now. All these great players that they've produced over the past 10 years, they're all, at the very least nearing 30 or in their 30s. Especially like some of the older players like Vertonghen and Alderweireld, who just aren't at the elite level anymore that they were 5-6 years ago. Even De Bruyne has turned 30. I know he's still playing at an incredible level, but he's by far like the best player in this Belgian team, if we're being honest. A lot of people say Hazard. In my eyes, De Bruyne is a better footballer than Hazard. I know Hazard's had great seasons at Chelsea, but De Bruyne has maintained this for very long periods of time, whereas Hazard would always have off seasons. Lukaku isn't looking well. It's difficult to say with him, but again, he's an on and off player. Like Hazard, he has good seasons and bad seasons, but he's nearing 30 now, and like a lot of their key midfielders that they've had throughout the years aren't even getting a look in the squad anymore. So yeah, it's definitely come to the end for Belgium, and it wouldn't surprise me if they have an absolutely shocking tournament of the World Cup, because they just haven't got that fear factor anymore. If they didn't have Kevin De Bruyne in their team, they would be absolutely, bang average, if we're being completely honest, because they just don't have that. Other than De Bruyne, and you can't rely on just one player because occasionally he's going to have an off game. They just don't have that. Yeah, I don't even know what it is they don't have, but just such a lack of creativity. I don't even know if that's down to the system that Martinez chooses to play, because to me, even though Thomas Meunier and Timothy Castagne and Yannick Carrasco, they're very good wing backs, I feel as though the other players that are in the squad, they'd be much more suited to playing in a four at the back system with a front three, and then Kevin De Bruyne is part of a midfield three. And then you've also got players like Onana, who can play as like a number 8 in that midfield three, or Yuri Tielemans, and then you've got the option of a sitting midfield in someone like Witsel, or there's many other options. But yeah, I just think Belgium needs to change something up, because it is very stale at the moment, to say the least. But anyway, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.